One of the key things that folks are somewhat concerned with when it comes to Tacoma is what about our retail environment, right? Because it's been taking a beating lately. Now, be sure to join the Discord down in the description box below. Also, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. I'm also on TikTok as well. And let me even see what my TikTok is because I don't even know. I just do my thing and that's it. Don't do a lot on there, but it is definitely growing. I'm under HW78 if you're looking for me. But retail in Tacoma has taken a beating. But just today, Noelle was going to campus and she was about to leave to go out of town because a lot of times she has to go out of town. And it's just regional. She drove by a section in Brewery Blocks because Brewery Blocks is, if you don't know, is basically a development that is, I believe Horizon is developing this. I'm not for certain. I mean, I can find it, but it's not that important. But they started this process by taking an entire block, and the goal was to create a live, work, play environment. And the renderings that they have of this is pretty fascinating. There's low rise and there's mid rise. I think the tallest one will be 17 stories or 12 stories. Let me take a look. Hold on. So I'm not just guessing in the dark here. So they came up with all these renderings as to what it's going to look like. And let me see if they have a schematics of what it is, right? I don't think they do. But it is a huge project, costing about $100 million total. They started with revitalizing some of the existing buildings that were already there. So what they did was they took two of the smaller buildings, renovated those entirely, and reused them. And so now you're seeing businesses go in there. They took another building, put apartments on top of it, which was a very smart thing to do. About 70 units, and that became a major point for their project, was getting that living component there. The others are just retail spaces, but their point was let's get some living space there, and they're not done with that. And when you look at their website, it's pretty cool. There are 5 phases of construction. Some of these buildings are over 100 years old, so that by itself takes some work. They only have 2 units available left of their residential space. So that is all gone. And we're talking an area that is basically just a vacant stretch of land now. So from that building that they basically added the apartments on top, the rest of this is parking lots. They put in a small parking garage there. The rest is parking lots. And at the end is an old loading bay. It's an old building that basically just has 3 sides to it and a roof, and then the rest of it's open. It's not in good shape. And so that's all going to be torn down, right? And so what they're doing now is literally changing the landscape here, so much so that they wanted the entire area to be called Brewery Blocks officially. And so you have to go through the city to do that and submit plans and all of that stuff and pay for it. And so it was approved not long ago that that area is considered to be Brewery Blocks. It's kind of like a district, if you will, a district within a district. And so they're continuing to do the things that they're going to do. Now, we don't know when the next phases are going to happen. But they show you a list of some of their tenants, right? And they talk about Brewery Blocks transformation stretches across 2 city blocks in downtown Tacoma and includes the renovation of 6 buildings totaling 211,000 square feet of Class A office space. 80,000 square feet of which will be new, right? At the completion of phase one, more than 600 people will occupy office space at brewery blocks, and that number continues to grow. So BCRA Designs, Brown & Brown Insurance, Chapter 13 standing trustee, it's a person that's there, David Evans and Associates, First Citizens, Horizon Partners, Infoblocks. The Infoblocks is a big tech company. They're there, Landau Associates, Robinson Noble. Those are some of your office hitters that are there, right? But that's not what we're here to talk about, because they're going to add additional buildings here and really expand this piece out. When it comes to commercial space, they do have a few spaces still available. But what you have in there are some heavy hitters, and there's going to be another heavy hitter. So the image that I'm going to put in right here is, first off, the thumbnail that you see is a picture that Noel took this morning of the new retail space that's going to be going in. And what I find interesting about this project is it's pretty cool, because the concept is not something that is super new to Tacoma. I mean, we do have some businesses where you pour your own beer. It's one of those beer pouring things. But it is something that I feel is very trendy, unique, forward-thinking, and they are literally just across the street from UWT. They're literally across the street from a hotel, which you can literally see it in the background. And the funny thing is that you have a great, great pizza place literally just right next door. The same building, if you will. So the living room, there's a business in Indianapolis called the Living Room. It was pretty cool. It's a nice little bar club type thing. But this isn't a club. This is a UPour-It type of beer. There's a technology system that they're going to put in and all of that. Husband and wife team, it's really great. And I actually toured this space before, because right when these folks were in there looking, I had another person down here taking a look at this space to see what they thought, if they could make it work. And they really liked it, but they didn't like the price, and you have to move quickly on some of these good spaces. And this space is gone. The living room will take up the entire top portion of this structure. The bottom portion is Dancing Goats Coffee. Dancing Goats has done very well in this location. And right up above them, so that whole building there will be completed. Next door to them is Camp Covos. Next door to that is First Citizens Bank. Or there's an empty space, I'm sorry. And then First Citizens Bank, their corporate office, I believe, or headquarters is right there, something like that. So these are big, big things. These three buildings right here are basically mostly occupied. There's one space that's still available on the back end. On the front end, you have Incline Cider, which does very, very well. You have another space for another building, or you have a couple of more spaces for a couple of other different businesses that can go into that building. Remember, it had just, I think, a couple of floors, and they added 3 or 4 more floors on top of it. So this is exciting, because on one end, people talk about, well, retail is going through such a bad time, and we worry about this. And I agree, but some of this is not necessarily due to COVID, right? Some of it is due to other influences that, if you're a business owner, you have very little control over. Some of it is due to very high rents. And when you don't have an attraction or an entertainment option or something that is new, it's really, really hard. If you look at the UWT retail corridor, it doesn't have a lot of attractions to it. There's nothing that's going to attract people other than if you're wanting to get particular food. So you don't have something that's unique and that's like, boom, eye-catching. With what makes brewery blocks a little bit different is that you have a place where you're going to always have people, because there's alcohol involved. So you have Incline Ciders. If you're not into beer, that would be your place. You then have, they're creating a disjointed, if you will, food hall, basically. But you have Incline Cider that's right there. They do very, very well. Now you have a beer pull tab place, which gives it a good name, Brewery Blocks. And that's going in right here. And you'll have access to the front way to get in. And I'm not sure, I don't think you can get in from any other way. I think that that's it. But you're going to be able to sit out on the patio, be able to look out. I do know long-term plans for this project and what they're hoping to do. And so I can say this, the people, the husband and wife team who chose that site was a good thing. Because if the future plans hold true as to some of the events they want to do, that business is in a great position to be able to, for people to look out over the streetscape. So it's a very smart plan. They're not the only ones that's going to open up in 23. So while we've lost retail, I think it is a correction. And I think that and it's unfortunate. I hate losing businesses. But keep in mind, there are other businesses that are actually opening. For example, what's the name of the place? I don't want to get the name wrong. I have it in my head. Let me look it up right now before I forget. Yep, I'm right. Unique Bakery. Unique Bakery is a bakery that started in Freight House Square, I believe. They outgrew the space and moved locations, and they still have a location right in downtown. And I think something happened. I think the owner may have passed, and so there was discussion on how to move forward, and I think they still continue to do so. But Noelle was roaming the building to get food one day and noticed a sign that says, "Coming soon, Unique Bakery." She was blown away. Now, I'm not, on purpose, I'm not talking about the Dome District because there are so many things that are planned for that really are going to be major, major game changers. But it was very interesting that they're going to have two locations, it seems, downtown and in Freight House Square. Now, this is a big deal because they know all of the development that's going on right there in the Dome District. The best way to capture market share and not have to pay massive rents are to go back to your old stomping grounds, work with the property owner because you know them very well, and the land, the management, they know you. They want a business like you, and they know that you're going to always pay and you're going to bring the crowds. So it was an easy transition. And that particular space that they're going to come into makes great sense. And so when people say the retail environment is what's going on downtown, I say there's a correction. This is a very hard correction, in my opinion. And I'm basing that based on just my low-level understanding of commercial real estate. When I talk to other people that know quite a bit, they probably somewhat agree with that. That I think that the effects of COVID is what you're feeling now. With a lot of the businesses gone, the foot traffic, you're still going to have a few more that will unfortunately lose. But I think we're going to see the dynamics change. Because we've never in history had this many people live in downtown Tacoma, ever. And you have so many different projects. When the Trent Development Building opens up, it's called the Rook. That is going to be an insane amount of people. There's already other projects that started even before that building. It's a colossus. And they're already completed and renting space. They haven't, once that happens, you're going to talk about a lot of people. Jefferson Flats or Jefferson Square, I can't remember, is a monster of a building that's going up over in the Brewery District. Monster. And I told Noelle, just look, when they were just digging the hole, I said that's going to be a monster building. When they started putting up the concrete deck, they have to build 2 floors of concrete up at least for some of the parking and everything. And I said, that thing is huge. Now they've added all these floors on top of floor. I think it's maybe 8 or 9 stories tall. It is a massive building. You see it. If you're in the Dome District, you see it. Coming, no matter where you go, you see it. It's a big building. There's other buildings, if you're coming from downtown towards that, you may not see it. But it is a monster of a building. And it's good that they do have parking, because that's a lot of people. I mean, it's big. These two big bookends are really right damn near close to each other. So all of those people, and I believe they're going to just be market rate. I don't know the details. I could find it. But I believe both of them are going to be competitively priced. So you have a massive amount of people who will be moving into downtown 23 and 24. And these projects, such as the living room, as well as other things like the food hall that I did a video on. Gene Juarez opens next month downtown. All of these things are opening this year. If construction schedules stay on time. Some of these things kind of, it's hit and miss. But all these things are happening relatively at the same time. Some of this, again, the retraction is due to just an overall correction. Really and truly, it's an overall correction, or a particular model doesn't work anymore. If you look at, for example, if you look at Spaceworks and them closing their co-working space, which it's not a co-working space, it was an artist lab. But it's listed as co-working space, so it makes offices look bad in some degree because it's classified as that, but it really isn't. That wasn't done because, it is, downtown is dying. It was done because it is a major correction. It is a chance to do something different, whereas that, at the time when that opened, was perfect for downtown Tacoma. That's no longer the case. It makes sense to still do, but it doesn't make sense to do it in that particular space. And so that is a correction. Some of the retail businesses that are leaving Pack Avenue by UWT, that is a market correction as well due to economics. It doesn't make sense on paper. The price that they're charging, the amount of money that these folks have to make in order to make that point, it is a lot. And again, I don't know if they regulate what type of businesses can go in there or not. That really impacts things as well. So in order to really get the type of businesses that students are going to go to, the rents have to be dropped dramatically in order to do that. If not, you're going to have a lot of time between those spaces actually filling up the way that they're doing it. Meanwhile, other spaces are priced in nodes. Brewery Blocks themselves is a node, meaning that it has a collection of everything that you need right there. It just doesn't have a grocery store. If it had that, people who live in that building would just have to basically leave to go to work, and that's it. You have a place to eat. You have several places to go drink. You have a bank that's right there. Everything is literally right where you need it to be. And as they expand and build this project and develop it over time, you're going to see that it is really going to be a major change. Now, some of the names they put in this, I guess they're considering an area bigger than Brewery Blocks, but they also own the site where El Gaucho is, which is an expensive place, and the Melting Pot. They also own those buildings as well. So they're putting all that into the mix. Okay? Horizon Partners are building this project. No question. No question. And there's a lot of other types of businesses that are in there. So For the Love of Bridal is also there. This is the 4th location for this bridal boutique. Blue Bonnet Photography. So they have a lot of different businesses that complement the project well. It's very diverse. A diverse group of different types of businesses in here, to where someone who's coming in because, hey, I need a dress and gown, and I need someone to take pictures of our wedding, it's there. There's so many different pieces to this project and the future constructions that they're going to do here that really make this a solid win. Now, understand that Horizon Partners also, if you look at their portfolio, because I want to make sure I'm correct on this, they own the DeVita building, which is also called I can't even say it, Schoenfeld building. It's a 10-story building, about 114,000 square feet, and that's going to be turned into housing. These people are busy because they're not even close to being done with what they're doing on brewery blocks. And that project there is going to be turned quickly into apartments. So you can see that developers like this, Horizon Partners is one of the smarter developers, in my opinion. They know how to fill these spaces, and they know a good project when they see it. They looked at that building and said, we could spend our time trying to get someone in there, but it's just not worth it. If you look at the DeVita building also, while I'm on it, you have a side over there. You have your 10 stories, and then you have like a 2 or 3 story section to the side. Technically, if Horizon wanted to, they could add more apartments to that. If they really wanted to, they can add another tower. I don't know if it could be as grandiose as the 10-story one, but they can actually build a wooden structure up above it, similar to what they did in brewery blocks, and even add more housing there if they wanted to. I think the question is what's going on next door, which is the Superblock site. We don't know who owns it, what's going on with that, but I think that is probably part of the equation, is who's going to take over that particular space. When you look inside the DeVita building, there's just so much opportunity. It's such an amazing space. But getting back to this self-serve tap room that's going to be opening, there's a lot of work they had to do. Keep in mind, these buildings are not finished on the inside. They have a floor, but basically that's it. The walls are protected on the outside, but on the inside, you just have some studs and insulation. So it's taken some time to fill up this big, giant 27, almost 3,000 square foot space. I think it's 3,000. It takes time to fill that space because they're having to do everything in there, plus some stuff on the outside. So it's taking some time. But downtown is not in decline. It is a correction, and it is a very firm correction. Some businesses could not weather all of the different challenges that were facing them. But I think that there are opportunities now that are starting to pop up that really strengthen what downtown will support and the things that it may not support in the future. Things that used to work in the past may not work now. So interesting to see this project continue forward. I really and truly do like it. I think it offers something that we really need downtown, something that's unique and cool. Again, I go back to the entertainment part. We need some sort of an entertainment component in this brewery block section. I think in different parts of downtown, we need entertainment. If you look at the area that is kind of our club scene or our nightlife area, down there you have your entertainment because you have the arcade that's down there. Now, Flat Stick Pub claimed that they were coming in. We still have yet to see anything there. And I don't know what the situation is, but that would have added another piece of entertainment. When you look up a little bit where the Astor is, the entertainment there is Keys on Main. It gives you now that's only adult entertainment, but it gives you, because it's a piano bar, but it's alcohol, things like that. Kids can't come in. So it lacks in certain areas because it doesn't have a full entertainment aspect, meaning that if you are a family, what is there to do right in your general area? And I think that's going to be the same situation here at Brewery Blocks, is we have to think about how do we encompass everything for families as well, not just adults. And so adding a component or a business that focuses on entertainment or something like that is something I think that they should definitely focus on. But anyhow, tell me what your thoughts are. I look forward to this opening up. Be sure to join the Discord, which is going to be down in the description box below. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and comment. Until next time, I will see you. Take care.